Hello, sports fans. Welcome to VIP SportsNet with Michael Dugan, Jim Sproul. Here today, we're breaking down the NFC South. Michael, who do you have in last place in the NFC South?
Well, it's a no-brainer, Jim. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off 4-12. Man, the Buccaneers were so bad. They, with the quarterback, they brought in pretty much went to the retirement home and brought back two coaches. Bruce Archer at 66, Bruce Arians, Tom Moore at age 80, trying to rebuild the offense, their defense. You know, Todd Bowles there. They brought in Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, but he came back from a back injury. They had a car accident, so I don't know how healthy he'll be coming off this year. They really have a hard schedule. They have San Francisco at home, then they have Carolina. They go. They have the Giants at home. Then later on they play New Orleans. So I don't see them doing much this year. I say probably the same record as last year, 4-12. What do you see?
Well, I have them in last place too. I mean, they finished 27th in the league in defense, and believe it or not, they were third in offense. I couldn't believe that, 415 yards a game.
And you win 4 games, so
the defense, couldn't stop anybody. But man, the quarterback, and it all boils down to Jameis Winston. He's got the quarterback whisperer as the coach now, Bruce Arians. I mean, he's worked with Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck, Carson Palmer, and others. And this is the last chance for Jameis Winston. I mean, this is it. First pick in the draft, and you were just inconsistent.
One good year there.
I mean, you can't even tell if the guy wants to be great or if it's all still a joke to him. You don't know. I think they had a pretty good draft. Drafting Devin White. He was special in college. They had they still have some pretty good weapons. They got Levante David, had 120 tackles last year in 4 games, but they just need more on that defense, and you like you said, they brought in Sue, but the guy don't try. I mean, he didn't even try for the Rams to the playoffs. I mean, He was just a dog out there. Just like
he's just in it for the money. He
didn't really try to the playoffs, and these boys are far removed from the playoffs. So what do you think you're going to get down there with him? I mean, that's just throwing away money.
I think the coaches they have in now isn't a long-term change. I mean, I think it's a temporarily fix.
You do? I just don't think Bruce Arians comes out of retirement because he didn't have anything to do. I think Bruce Arians really has a passion for the game and wants to be good. And I think he wants to be there and turn this around like he did with the Cardinals. And but first, he has to have a quarterback, and this right here, you have. If you're Jameis Winston, you have no excuse now. With this guy as your coach, you have no excuse. So it's fish or cut bait time with him. So who'd you have as your third place team?
I have the Carolina Panthers coming up.
Me too.
8-8. Cam Newton, he coming off a shoulder surgery. Yeah, he didn't start throwing until the end of May.
But he was ahead of schedule, though, on the rehab.
But he also sprained his ankle in the week 3 of preseason games. So he's already, getting hurt. But, Cam Newton, if he stays healthy, they can do good. But Cam Newton just needs to redefine the way he does the game and stay injury-free this year.
Well, it's when he always takes off running and stuff, he just... And it's what I tell people about running quarterbacks. Like, look, this guy's even getting hurt. And he's 260 or 250. He's huge. You just can't make a living as a quarterback running in this league because these boys hit. I mean, it's a man's game out there. And,
in their defense, they did do some good on their defense. They brought in...
They're switching to a 3-4.
Yes. So, hopefully... the Panthers can do it, but I really see them maybe win maybe a couple more games, but I still the South is so tough and so competitive.
Yeah.
For them to win,
8 games is tough.
Yes. And you have to go to Atlanta, you have to go to New Orleans every year, and it's a very competitive games. Yeah. No matter how you play it.
Yeah, but even they you look at them right now and you see all these one-year deals, so they're obviously in win-now mode. And they got Christian McCaffrey. I mean, that kid, he was the most targeted receiver on their team last year. And then they started giving him the ball more running. I mean, his carries went up from 7.3 to 13.7. I don't think he's big enough to take many more carries and catch all those passes. DJ Moore, the receiver they drafted the year before, I think he's going to be pretty good. But man, with Luke Kuechly, all those concussions, the defense is going to be stout. I mean, they were 10th in offense last year and 15th in defense, and everybody's still talking about their defensive line, just how physical their front seven is. But like I said, you're switching to a different base defense, so is it going to be enough to contend with those top two offenses you got to face 4 times? So. Well, not only that, but if Tampa Bay had the third offense last year, they're formidable too. So
right. I mean,
your defense got to be stout.
The AFC South is very competitive.
NFC South.
So it'll be interesting.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it, but a lot of it hinges on Cam. Is he still going to be able to throw down the field as much? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to force the ball way downfield. I think they're going to throw underneath a lot. Just till he's fully healthy. So you'll see him stacking the box against the run too. So and that happens.
Yeah. So guys, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we'll finish the last two for the NFC South. You guys stay tuned. Welcome back to VIP SportsNet. Jim and Mike talking about the NFC South. I have the Atlanta Falcons.
That's your number 2?
That's my number 2.
I have them there too.
Because 12-4, but they got 2 good first-round draft picks to help the offensive line to protect Matt Ryan. They reunited with their offensive coordinator, which helped Matt Ryan pass for over 4,500 yards and over 86 touchdowns. Deion Jones got a very lucrative contract this year, but, the NFC South, I mean, they've done it before. I mean, 12-4 is nothing to sneeze about in the NFL, but just that division is just so hard. Probably the toughest in the NFL.
I think so.
So what do you have to say about that?
Well, I had them as my number 2 pick as well. They were 6th in offense and 28th in defense. And on paper, they look great on, the quarterback, Matt Ryan. He's got the great receiver and Julio Jones, and, he's got Calvin Ridley emerging, but Jones looks like he's been dipping the last 2 years, as far as touchdowns. His productivity seems to have went down. I do like what they did in the first round. They went after, 2 offensive linemen. They got the Chris Lindstrom from Boston College with a 14th pick. Then they traded back in, get the 31st pick, and took Caleb McGarry in Washington. So, I mean, they're all in on trying to bolster an offense that was already 6th.
Right.
But, they're still waiting on Tack McKinley, who was their first-round pick a couple of years ago. They're still waiting on him to justify the pick because he's had 2 shoulder surgeries in the last 2 years. So they're, they spend a lot of resources on their defense. With,
right.
And the offense, they're still good. Devontae Foreman running the ball. I guess it's all going to come down to the defense again. I mean, you're 12-4 with the 28th ranked defense, so hopefully they can, for their sake, get some people off the field because they score quick.
And the games they play first games is Minnesota, Philadelphia, Indianapolis, and Tennessee. So
those first 2 games right out of the chute are going to be tough, man.
Right?
Because those are physical football teams. I mean,
so after the third week, you kind of see how the team is doing, how healthy they are, and where they can improve if they need to, but you never know.
I mean, when they play the Vikings, Coach Zimmer there, they're going to be physical with him. And then the Eagles, they've got maybe the most talented roster in the NFL. They've just got solid football players everywhere, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, so, yeah, right off the bat, it's going to tell you a lot.
So my first team in the NFC South, I got the Saints.
Me too.
This, I'm a little concerned. Drew Brees, 40 years old. If they don't make it to Super Bowl, this might be the end of the Drew Brees era in New Orleans. They have their most talented team right now in the South.
Well, yeah, them or Falcons, because like I said, the Falcons on paper look formidable.
The thing is, they have 2 back-to-back playoff disappointments. I mean, that
Right at the last.
Right.
Man.
And they could have done it, but just we all know what happened. We don't need to rehash or we open a wound, but I mean, that was a nasty.
Both years. They should have been in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Last 2 years.
So
fluke plays.
Yeah, so that's how I see him. I see him winning it. I mean, I see him doing better than 11-5. I can almost say maybe 11-3. Just because they didn't lose. I mean, they did lose Mark Ingram, to free agency, but that's where I'm seeing the Saints this year. I know you got the Saints, so let me hear your opinion about the Saints this year.
Well, I mean, they were 8th in offense and 14th in defense. Like you touched on some of their key losses, Mark Ingram at running back and Ben Watson and Alex Okafor. But they brought in, Jared Cook to play tight end. They got the rookie center, Eric McElroy, McCoy, the second-round pick to replace Max Unger. And then they went and got Latavius Murray in the draft. But a lot of it, depends on Marcus Davenport. He's just got to be dominant opposite of Cam Jordan, to step up there because Sheldon Rankins, has got a torn Achilles, so he's going to miss half the year. So they really got to get a lot of production out of the second-year man from University of Texas, San Antonio. The rookie, Emmanuel Butler, he's a big target to put opposite the venerable Michael Thomas. Right. And then, of course, you got Alvin Kamara. With Ingram leaving, Kamara's going to get more touches, and I don't necessarily know if that's a good thing, just considering his body type, the way he's built.
Right.
He's not like, well, he may be a lot like Christian McCaffrey. He's more effective the less you use him, in comparison to giving him a bunch of runs between the tackles. That'll take down his effectiveness. But I have them winning it, and I have them maybe going 13-3.
So do you have this as a do or die for the Saints this year because of Drew Brees' age?
No, because they got Teddy Bridgewater, who's a first-round pick himself. So I think they're building to keep this going, even if they take a hit with Brees going down.
So, well, guys, that is our show about the NFC South. This is Jim and Mike from VIP SportsNet. You guys have a great day. Tune in for our next show.